Hello. Firstly, I want to thank the Golden Thread Gallery for giving me this opportunity to talk about my work. I'll be giving a bit of background to my photographic series, The Illusion of Purpose, the selection from which was exhibited in the project space in 2018, and this is an installation shot from the exhibition. The exhibition was called There and Not There, and it was a two-person show curated by Sarah McCavera, and I exhibited alongside fellow photographic artist Sharon Murphy, who's based in Dublin. So my ongoing photographic practice explores how we construct, interact with, manage and interpret space and place. I'm fascinated with the order that humans attempt to bring to the world, and in recent years I've become increasingly interested in photography's relationship with sculpture and form. Photography being a two-dimensional medium in contrast to the three-dimensional world that we occupy, and in the same sense, photography being a two-dimensional medium that we then convert the three-dimensional world into. For The Illusion of Purpose, I returned to the coast, which is an area that I'm often drawn to explore redundant structures that have been superseded by more modern technologies. So the first structure I came across was this one, which was the structure that the rest of the project became based on, really. I came across it on a coastal walk in the southwest of England and was fascinated by its sculptural qualities and also its strange relationship with its surrounding landscape. It brought to mind the work of Rachel Whiteread and Anthony Gormley, both artists having created site-specific sculptures in isolated landscapes, but also how we as human beings relate to objects, sculptures and structures relational to ourselves and relational to our own bodies, which are in themselves a form of structure. The sculptural qualities of each structure are allowed to come to the fore through the loss of their original function. They've become available for reinterpretation and a sort of reappropriation in a creative or philosophical sense, and this was something that really intrigued me about them. If I go back to the grid of images, I began to collect the structures through photographing them and realised I was presenting a collection of shapes and colours that were beginning to resemble a kind of language from a forgotten time, a collection of symbols. So presenting the photographs at a large scale highlights their monumentality because they're also quite like monuments to previous technologies. But also I have presented them at a smaller size in a grid formation such as this, which tends to highlight their symbolic nature and that suggestion of being some sort of ancient language that nobody speaks anymore. Technology is restructuring our communication methods, and the way we interact with our environment is changing as a result. We are interacting less with the space and world around us, and more with the two-dimensional screen or interface that we have held in our hand or in front of us. Rather than relying on physical landmarks to negotiate our surroundings or find our way, we rely on GPS on a screen, for example. We take photographs on our devices, most of which never actually take on a physical form of a print. They just appear and disappear as we look at them on our screens. When I was making the series, I was also reading the French philosophers Jean Baudrillard and Paul Virilio. Baudrillard argued that things that used to take the physical form of an object are now becoming pure information through the loss of the need for the object itself. So he's kind of saying that everything is being absorbed into computers, screens and interfaces. So in a way, The Illusion of Purpose is looking at these redundant structures as the opposite to this, as objects with physical form in the absence of the information they once possessed. So through this loss of information, they lie dormant. And they represent monuments to previous technologies, as I think I've already mentioned, but these previous technologies were firmly rooted in the material world. So the quietness of the structures and their slowness in revealing their original purpose, if at all, highlights a widening gap in understanding the older technologies as we move away from traditional methods of interaction with the world. As I was making the work, the connection each structure had with its site became important to me, especially with the need to walk over all kinds of terrain to reach each one. Although all coastal and situated around the UK and Ireland, every landscape had different vegetation and form. So where possible, I included the point at which each structure connects to the ground, because apart from rooting it to its location, I felt it was important in the identity of each structure within its landscape. After all, when you've been on a walk in a relatively isolated landscape and you come across a structure like this, it certainly has the power to transform the location into something else. So this is the last photograph from the series that I'm going to show before leaving you with this one, which is a photograph of me mid-shoot standing on the windy edge of Wales. You can see more of my work at victoriajdeen.com, and thank you for listening and watching.